Dora and the Lost City of Gold is an unrelenting nightmare that made me feel embarrassed for everyone involved. The movie is directed by James Bobin, starring Isabella Moner, Jeffrey Wahlberg, Madeline Madden, Nicholas Combe, Eugenio Derbez, sorry I butchered his name, Michael Pena, Eva Longoria, and for some reason, because they needed money probably, Danny Trejo and Benicio del Toro. The entire movie is painful from the start. I felt embarrassed not only for myself sitting in the theater, but for the parents who took their children to see it, and for every person who worked on or got lines in this film. Dora is a schizophrenic who loves to psychoanalyze every person in the film. It's horrible, it's boring, it's not funny, and it feels very out of place and awkward. They may use it as a joke to make sense for the way the original show was run with her talking to the camera, and it does not work at all. Thankfully, they only do it a few times, but it still feels painfully awkward, stilted, and it makes me question why her parents didn't put her in a public school in a city earlier. It's very confusing. Every joke goes on for an awkward amount of time and really tries to force things into existence. For example, apparently the worst thing that Eva Longoria and Michael Pena can tell Dora before she goes to the real world is that raves exist. And this joke goes on for a solid minute. And by the end of it, I wanted to gouge my eyes out. It was painful, awkward, and I don't know why it made it into the final cut of the film other than just pad the runtime. The plot is horribly convenient, and characters magically appear when they need to be there and need to make the story easier. And apparently, the City of Gold that's been lost for thousands of years is clearly out in the open under the night sky, and any brain dead idiot will be able to walk into it. Hell, with a tall ladder, you'd be able to climb into it. The CGI is awful. Del Toro and Trejo are horrible voice actors, and the entire cast sucked as a whole, with the only exception of Moner. She was very good as Dora, and I really liked, and she really filled that role very well. There are a few positive things I can glean from this movie. There are two good jokes that made me laugh about a frog, and she's like, "Oh, it's a yellow spotted toad poisonous frog. Can you say some poison, like big science word?" And I found that very funny. It made me laugh. The other one I can't remember because this movie is horribly forgettable. But other than that, there is an animated sequence where the characters accidentally get high as fuck and magically turn into their cartoon counterparts from the original TV show. It was good fun and brought back some nostalgic memories for me from the old show when I was a kid. That's the only point this movie was made. That's the only reason why, is to somehow get some nostalgia from the kids that grew up watching the show, even though nobody's going to see this fucking movie besides me. And I don't know why I paid to see it, because this video is not going to get any reviews. Nobody's going to view it. No one's going to comment. Nobody's going to like. So why did I waste money on this movie? I don't know. I understand wholeheartedly that this movie is intended for children, and that I am not the intended audience. Knowing this, the movie is fairly well made. A lot of the technical things are there, aside from a few ADR moments, the sound quality is rather good, and it's a competent made movie as a whole. But still, as an adult, there is nothing to take away from this movie. It is boring, painfully unfunny, needless in today's society, and like I said, embarrassing for all of those involved. I would not recommend this movie to anyone over 10 years old, and I will not remember a single thing from this movie within the next 2 weeks. Maybe I will remember at the end of the year when I do my top 10 worst movies of the year. I doubt it because, like I said, it's a competently made movie that's not intended for my age group. 3.6 out of 10.